When Diana walked away from the dinner table without a single word, no one expected her silence to roar back with a storm that would leave her in-laws homeless and shaking. What followed was not revenge, it was a reckoning. You won't believe what she did next. Diana gently touched her new gold earrings with rubies and took a deep breath before sitting at the dinner table. The white tablecloth was spotless, and the air felt stiff with fake smiles and cold politeness. The evening was meant to be a family dinner, but it felt more like a meeting of old politicians. Everyone wore gray or beige. Her mother-in-law, Margaret Elkins, acted like a royal widow invited to a national award ceremony. She looked around with sharp eyes, sipping wine as if tasting the blood of fools. She sat proudly at the table's head, always ready to judge. She stared hard at Diana, her eyes full of quiet hatred. She didn't understand how a girl like Diana, just a regular manager 2 years ago, could rise so fast. Now, Diana was a director, a rich shareholder. Expensive restaurants were nothing to her. Meanwhile, Margaret only had her pride and a dusty printout of her noble family tree. Her son, Brian, adored his wife, calling her sweet names and always obeying. This only made his mother angrier. Margaret liked to remind everyone that her family once owned land and had noble titles. Her ancestor, Francis William Elkins, had been a landowner and a state councilor. She learned about it through her research and told the story to anyone who would listen. It made her feel important, though it was long in the past. That night, she raised her glass and smiled. "Let's toast," she said with a fake smile, "to my son finally finding a woman worthy of our family." There was silence. No one moved. Even the waiter stopped, unsure what to do. Diana didn't argue. She quietly placed her napkin on the table, stood up, and walked out of the restaurant. She didn't break anything or shout. She just left. No one followed. Only Aunt Martha whispered, "I knew she wouldn't stay long." Outside, Diana breathed in the fresh air. The sky was clear. Her heart was calm. She felt no pain or regret, just a sense of final understanding. The next morning, Margaret was woken by the doorbell. A courier handed her a letter from the bank. She opened it expecting something annoying like always, but what she read made her knees weak. It was a legal notice. Diana had ended the mortgage payments. The apartment would be taken by the bank. They had 2 weeks to move out. Margaret read the letter over and over, hoping the words would change. But they didn't. Soon the bailiffs arrived. One young man stepped forward with a file and a calm voice. He caught Margaret hiding an Uzbek tea set in the couch cushions. It was a gift from Diana. "We're here for movable property," he said. "That includes the white BMW X5 parked outside." Margaret tried to argue. "That's my son's car. Why are you taking it?" The officer explained it was bought on credit. Diana had stopped the payments. They had the right to take it. The luxury car drove away slowly. Its engine made a soft growl, almost like a laugh. Margaret stood frozen, watching it leave. She grabbed her phone and quickly called Diana, almost breaking her nail. Diana answered right away. She seemed ready. "What are you doing?" her mother-in-law shouted. "You're destroying us! Are you crazy?" Diana didn't raise her voice. She just spoke calmly. "I'm simply taking back what's mine." Margaret was confused and furious. She yelled again. "What do you mean? Everything is falling apart." Diana replied, "You said I didn't belong in your family. So I'm leaving, and I'm taking everything I brought with me. The apartment, the car, the furniture, even the coffee machine. You didn't buy any of it. I did. Now you're left with nothing." Her voice was steady and her words cut like ice. She continued, "Let your son run around with nothing. Maybe he'll find a noble woman near the trash bins. He can start over like before the wedding. As for me, I'll live well. I don't need you. Enjoy your emptiness." Margaret tried to argue. "But we gave you our family name. We welcomed you." Diana laughed quietly. "You tolerated me. I heard your insults from day one. Even my mother's photo was placed in the bathroom as a joke. I still remember. Margaret tried to explain. That was just a joke. But Diana stopped her. A joke is when people laugh together. You humiliated me. I stayed quiet. I helped you. But now it's over. I'm not playing anymore. Live as you wish, but without me. And I'm blocking your number and your son's. Goodbye. Then the line went dead. Brian, her son, stood at his ex-wife's apartment later that day. The guard gave him a bag of clothes. He looked lost. He didn't understand how the woman he once called a simple office worker had held everything together. She had been the reason for their wealth, the fancy dinners, the expensive lifestyle. Without her, they had nothing. He looked at his mother. What do we do now? He asked like a child. She stood straight and said, You must marry again. Find a good girl from a proper family. One whose grandmother read good books. We'll fix this. But Brian shook his head. What about the debts? Diana paid everything. Now the credit cards are due. The bank sent a warning. One more week and we're in trouble. Margaret sat down slowly. The weight of her choices finally hit her. She tried to stay proud, but her heart knew the truth. The home, the car, the dinners, it had all been Diana. Now, it was all gone. All that remained was shame and silence. At the same time, Diana sat in a bright salon she co-owned. Her friend Carla worked on her nails. Sunlight filled the room. Peace filled her heart. Carla asked, Don't you miss them? Diana smiled. I only feel sorry for people who suffer without cause. They treated me badly and used my money. Now they'll learn to survive alone. They called me a tool. Now I've shut down. Her voice was soft but strong. Carla asked again, But Brian? He seemed okay before. Diana looked thoughtful. He changed. When I started earning well, he followed his mother. He forgot me. It became all about her rules, her orders. No respect, no love. I had to leave. Now I'm searching for someone strong and kind. Someone who doesn't live under his mother's shadow. Someone honest and proud, without fake pride or hidden debts. Maybe he's out there. Maybe not. But I'm free. 3 months later, Brian and his mother lived in a small, old apartment. Their life was empty. No car, no comfort, no coffee machine, just a cheap bath mat his mother had hidden during the eviction. Sometimes Margaret sat alone and whispered, She had good taste, she had class, and money. We lost her, but she never admitted it was her fault. Instead, she yelled at her son, It's your fault. You ruined everything. Cockroaches were their only guests now. Yet deep inside, she knew. Her pride, her sharp tongue, and her fake superiority had pushed away the one person who had given them everything. And now, she had nothing. Not even her old smile. Meanwhile, Diana lived happily. She had peace, freedom, and power. She had walked away without shouting, without noise. But her silence had spoken louder than words. And in that silence, she found her strength.